Good morning, fish keepers. Cam and John here from the fishroom.co.nz. We've done it. We've done Friday. Well, I've done Friday. John's still on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll take a coffee for that.
Let's do coffee. Right. We have ourselves a very, very special guest hanging around in the back room, so we'll bring him up. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
I'm very good. Tea in hand.
Coffee it is.
Yeah, third that.
Very good.
Cool.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's greatly appreciated.
Brilliant.
Cool. All right. So what got you into keeping aquariums?
Well, it all started pretty much when I was a kid, more so on the pond side of things. My dad used to keep koi's and fancy goldfish in ponds, and that's how I got into the fish side of things. And it was always ponds when I lived with my parents. When I left my parents and got my first home, I just had a very small yard, no garden, so I got a fish tank. So that's how that started. Got the fish tanks, and as you do, just normal, keeping your bog standard tropical fish, and it all stemmed from there, really. So yeah, from a kid into ponds, into tropical fish, and loved it ever since. Cool.
Still interested in ponds, or have a pond by any chance?
I don't have a pond. I still love ponds. I used to have a gardening business, and that was my favourite part. I love like water gardens and obviously fish ponds, wild ponds, all that sort of thing. So I still enjoy, but I haven't got one. Love one.
Yeah.
When I win the lottery, that's the first thing I get. Nice big Japanese fish pond.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
we don't often get a lot of people come on and talk about ponds, which is why I just asked you if you were still doing it. It's basically a glass box is our main thing. So
it's just the fish keeping side. Like, see, my dad had some gorgeous koi ponds, and he built some like Japanese, but whole gardens like Japanese style. It kind of came from there, because what I'm into now, the aquascaping side, is I'm in a nature aquarium, which was came about in Japan. So it's all like the Japanese side of garden ponds and Japanese gardens underwater, hence the nature aquarium style. So it's all like linked in a way to stemming from the pond fish. Yeah.
Cool. So from there, what kind of got you into aquascaping, and how did you become the Geordie Scaper? How did that all kind of come about?
Well, I got into aquascaping years before the Geordie Scaper thing come about. Like I said, I used to have the fish tanks, and then you start researching. And because I was into the Japanese side of things, it led on to Takashi Amano, as it does with most aquascapers. You come across Takashi Amano, you see what can be done in a fish tank, and it was like just blown away from there. And obviously with my interest in the Japanese side of things, and I just researched until I'd done my first serious aquascape, which was in around 2009. So that's when I done it was the Zen style, Iwagumi style scapes, but just the rock scapes. That was the first ever one I'd done. At the time, I bought like replica AGA tanks and their cabinets and stuff, and I got a bit obsessed with the Takashi Amano side of things, and done my first ever aquascape, and just got hooked ever since. So 2009, and then after that, kind of like drifted in and out of aquascaping. Still always kept tropical fish, but some are more basic than others. I actually tried Malawi's, just as long as I had a fish tank sort of thing. But always like fell back into the planted aquarium side, and when I did, I decided to do a YouTube channel, which was about 5 years ago. And then I started taking that a bit more serious, and Geordie Scaper came around more seriously about 4 years ago. I've been taking that serious now, and Geordie's where I'm from, Newcastle in the northeast UK, and I'm an aquascaper, Geordie Scaper. So that's how that came about. Very original,
I can't say nothing. My first online name was Lothian Fishkeeper, because I live in
right. Yeah.
So
I knew a guy who Lothian. There's a fish shop. No, it's not Lothian. It is.
East Lothian Aquatics.
Yeah, East Lothian Aquatics. I know the guy from there. Yeah.
Phil.
Phil, he's a lovely bloke, Phil. Yeah, I met him at different events. Yeah. I thought I knew Lothian from somewhere. That's who it was. Because it's short, Ella, and then that's my daughter's name, Ella. East Lothian Aquatics. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, bit off topic there, but yeah, that's how that came about. Geordie Scaper. I started doing YouTube, got into the Instagram thing, and learned how to use social media because I was clueless with it. And just it's like learning everything from scratch. So doing videos, doing photographs, like what we were talking about earlier, editing the whole shebang, and just got really into it, promoting the hobby, promoting aquascaping. So love it.
Cool. Just back to your Malawi cichlid time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you sort of fully scape that with rocks and stuff like that, or was it just I just want to make sure I've got a fish tank in the house still?
No, well, me not doing things by halves. I thought, I started studying Malawi fish, and that got complicated with the mbuna, the little aggressive buggers. And then obviously researching them, and I thought, well, I'll do a scape, and then that got more complex. I just threw something together, didn't like it, so then I done a full-on proper rock aquascape. I live near Newcastle on the coast, and I was going to the beach, and at the time I didn't drive. I was collecting rocks, like huge rocks, in a backpack, walking about half an hour home. And each day going for different rocks. So I had like a 4-foot tank just full of massive, huge rocks that nearly broke me back doing it. So yeah, that's what I do with the mbuna, whichever way you want to say it. That's what I kept, yeah.
I find that scaping or trying to make an mbuna tank look aesthetically pleasing has got to be one of the harder things to do.
Yeah.
You can't kind of hide your imperfections with little plant spots.
Mm-hmm.
Can't sort of use twists and turns with wood, and it's very much working on what rock can kind of work in a wedge because they don't move. I've always found that Malawi is a very difficult sort of thing to make it look really, really pretty.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. I was just saying, I'd love to try it again with rocks I could get my hands on now, and I would love to try and create something with boats there in mind. It's what's hard I find with that. It's creating a nice scape with enough hiding spaces and letting the fish getting out of line of sight and things like that. That is the challenge. Creating caves with the scape and big and that. There's certain rules you can do though, which you'll get that straight away, and then you build around that. So, for example, if you use 3 big, huge rocks, once you get those 3 in, you build around that, and that's when it makes it more aesthetically pleasing, while still being a happy home for the fish.
Yeah.
Well, are mbuna ever happy?
No, they always look really, really angry. I've seen some Malawi tanks with anubias as a plant.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Plant, but
there's a couple of scapers I've done. I wouldn't like to put plants in because there's very minimal plants where they come from the wild, and it just doesn't look right, I don't think.
Yeah.
Where anubias, I've still seen fish pinch at anubias. I've had Congo terra before, which aren't known as plant, but they still have little nibbles at the plants. And I think mbuna do the same. They'll try and get the algae off it and just take the little nicks out of the plant. So I just kind of don't see the point, to be honest. Yeah. So if you give it a second, I might have a picture of the mbuna tank.
Yeah, good. While we're here, we can take this break again to do the whole don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, I'm glad we got that over and done with. Yeah. Morning, people in the chat. Renee, Zen, Dan, Kiora, how are you, brother? Helen, good morning. Rochelle, Nano Aquarium Guy, thank you, everybody, for being with us. It is greatly appreciated, as always.
Right, I don't know if you can see it much.
Oh, yeah.
Up a little bit. Oh, yeah, neat.
All right.
Yeah, very nice.
That's I've done that years ago. All them big boulders, yeah.
Yeah.
Back.
You carried them about in your backpack.
Oh, never again. Tell you they're getting delivered next time.
I bet. I'd like to do a Malawi tank with Frodo rock. You know
That's what I would like. Frodo, or I like Serious Stone Mini Landscape Rock. I think it's easy to build with that. So I think there's a couple of skaters done it. George Farmer, who's known, he's done a big Serious Stone tank before. Mm-hmm. And there's another guy. One of the best ones I've seen was in a tall tank, and he built it in height with loads of hiding space and actually silicon all the stone together. That's one of the best ones I've seen. And it had like a nice detailed sand foreground, and yeah, that was a really good one. I think it was an aquarium design group in the UK that done that.
Yeah.
In someone's home, and it was huge and nice built-in aquarium. Like I say, it was tall rather than long, and yeah, it was nice. That was one of the best ones I've seen. Yeah. I would love to try it again, though. I'd love to, someone says to me, yeah, I've got a 6-foot tank, got all this rock, skate away. I'd love to give it a try.
I love that you said 6-foot tank. Big as good with African cichlids, and yeah, I can imagine a lovely, couple of different colours of fish, and just let them be.
Yeah. See, I had 4-foot, and I went with mainly the dwarf. When I had more fishing, but eventually just went to the dwarf and the boona, but still it wasn't big enough. I think that's why I got rid of it in the end. Not try to get away with a 4-foot. Yeah. You need 6 foot. Even though the dwarf and boona, it's still it's not right. So
were they electric gallows and Demisoni in there?
No, there was the Solosi. So the males are black and blue on, and the females are yellow. Yeah. And I had some red top hongai, what I remember, some A-side, which were far too big. So got rid of them as soon as they got bigger. That's what I remember the fish had, yeah.
I don't think I'm not massively up with the game when it comes to Malawi cichlids, but I don't think we get the Solosi's here. But they are a very nice fish.
They are lovely fish. With like in a group though, they're crazy fish because you'll get a group and you'll get your dominant males. So I had about 3 dominant males, which were like the dark blue and black, and then you've got your sub-dominant ones, which like are yellow, and then I think some of the males just give up and turn bright yellow like a female. Crazy.
Yeah.
I think they just give up competing and thought, I'll just stay yellow.
Yeah. There's a couple of species of Malawi cichlids that do that, which I think is really special. It's obviously just a camouflage to keep them safe, but to have 2 separate colors from the one species really opens up an aquarium. Like you can get the blue and your yellow, or your dark blue and your yellow, and have one other species of fish, and you've got this nice, lovely combination, and only 2 species, and it works really well.
That's exactly what I went for, and I think a lot of people do that. That's the main combo, because you mentioned the fish before. Was it the side?
Yeah.
They're just all black and blue bob, which are lovely fish, but they're evil. They just fight constantly, and you can only have the one fish.
Oh, so they're horrible.
That's why I think I got rid of it. Was the size of the tank, but it was mainly the tank at the time was in my living room. That's the only tank I had, and it just stresses out. It's not relaxing. A fish tank where they're just constantly fighting, or like. Yeah, it was like, just couldn't relax.
Yeah, not my cup of tea for that reason. I totally understand why people enjoy African cichlids and Mbuna, because bright, active, colourful all day long, they don't stop. Like I totally understand it, but not for me at the moment, at least. So.
I like me peaceful, plant-loving tetras. That give me those now. I love me tetras. So
yeah.
I'm just going to bring a comment up. Just before we move on to the next question, just so it doesn't get lost, it's from Peter Alley Photography.
I know Peter. Hello, Peter.
Well, that's a little bit of banter, is it?
Telmark Sunderland's the #1 team in the Northeast. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm sure you know, John, about the Newcastle Sunderland. Absolutely love each other.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Much the same as Hampton Hearts.
Aye, Peter, I'll wait till I see you next. Yep.
I love a little bit of banter. Cool. I'll bring up the other one that Zen commented.
Oh yeah, Zen's creating a link for the fish spam link. He just wanted to make sure that this, besides your Instagram, Facebook, and your merch, and YouTube, obviously, is there anything else that you have online? that you want added to our link tree.
Do you have any other links besides YouTube, IG, Facebook, and this merch? I'm adding them to Fish Farm link and want to make sure I have them all. So we've got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and this merch. That's it. That's it with me. Yeah. I've got like the website. I have a small website which is kind of linked to me merch. So if you go to my merch channel, it's kind of like a website anyway. So that's great.
Perfect.
Yep, awesome. You mentioned before you did a lot of research before you got into setting up some of your escapes. Where's your favourite places to do research?
I love good old-fashioned books, to be honest. I like to have a book. I research everywhere. There's obviously Google search, but I kind of find that I like one or two good sources of information, stick to those instead of being like having a barrage of information. Everyone's got an opinion. I kind of like stick to the masters of the game and stick with those. Like I say, get a really good. I've got some books there which are my pride and joy, and that's what I go to as a reference guide or inspiration sort of thing. Or it's generally off. I've just got to like question or something. I'm a little bit unsure of. I'm forgetting something about a certain plant or whatever. Just Google it and research it from hopefully what I think is a reliable source. But I tend not to go forums on Facebook. I hate Facebook forums and groups because too many know-it-alls, and I might offend some people here, but I'm not saying all groups are bad, but I kind of shy away from them because,
I think when you pick up
want to keep the peace.
One answer, when you pick up a book, you get one answer to your question.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to absorb that answer.
Yeah.
And get other opinions coming in, or 500 different links to the same kind of answer, but it's a lot clearer.
Yeah. And like I said, your books want to come from a reliable source. For example, I've just been looking at a book on houseplants there, and I know it's a reliable source because it's the Royal Horticultural Society who published the book. It's that sort of thing, It's not just willy-nilly because there's thousands of books to choose from, same as there's thousands of groups, thousands of forums. But I think once you've been in a hobby for a while, it doesn't matter what hobby it is, you know where to look and you kind of stick with that. So you're not getting mixed answers. I know you've got to stick with the times and things do change, new things are found, but they all come back. Old school chain of thought always comes back anyways, I find. So, books. I like my books, old-fashioned.
I'm also a fan of books. There, stack them over there. There's a stack of them beside my counter at the shop where the computer sits and all that. Always digging through them, having a wee look, got a wee question. I'm also a fan of reading through books, and then but there's obviously other places as well where you can definitely get on board with the reading of the books to finding out information. And for me, there's something quite neat about like opening up like Ivan McColge's book, for example, and just doing a little bit of research on a particular species because he's been there with it, just a little bit more closer to what it is on the screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's always something. It's a nice little keepsake as well. The book, it's like it's there. You can just go to a reference. So it's like I enjoy reading about different things, and I've got audio books. But when I listen to audiobook, I always think in my head, I wish I had the hard copy. It's crazy. And I like to read as well. So I'm not an avid reader, but I do like a collection of books of my favourite topics or my favourites in the game. Obviously, I mentioned Takashi Omano before. I've got Takashi Omano's biography, and I've got some books as a reference guide. Or it's mainly the books there or just for inspiration. So I'd rather open a book up and think yes than search online.
Exactly.
It's just. It is.
And those books are amazing to look through as well. They're glossy. They're just different.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks once you get the mono books because they're so expensive as well and collectible. It's like, wow, the way you open it, it's like, oh.
I know. You almost put like gloves on to open them up, don't you?
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
But they're a great conversation starter as well because if I've got 1, 2, and 3, and if I have them out. And when I had the office and somebody comes in and see them, they're straight over and it instantly starts a conversation, whether they're aquascapers or not.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that just it gets the conversation going.
That's true. I remember when was it again? Earlier in the year, I went to see the Sea Camp Bunch. So it's Madison, Georgia. It's just a small town in Georgia, and their headquarters. And they've got like a conference room, which is like, it's a big circle table and stuff. They've got like books, loads of books, and the bookshelves. First ones I seen was the Monos. I was like, you've got a Mono, this one, book one, you've got this. First book, and then everyone started talking about aquascaping from then on.
Yeah.
Because people here hadn't met, or they didn't know what each other had done or what they specialised in, and I got talking about aquascaping. So it's crazy, I say that.
Yeah, it's never failed to get a conversation going.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. And Dan has just mentioned that he's still got one of my books, so I'm glad that he remembered, because I totally forgot that he had it. So I'd appreciate that back before I forget again, please, buddy.
I'd be like, I wish stamp it and charge him.
I'm going to cough again.
Particularly cough.
I've been wearing a cough probably near on 4 weeks now.
Same here. Yeah, I've had the same. I was going to say it's our UK weather, but you're not in the UK, so it's not that.
Have you always been creative, or is it just something that's sort of developed in your time hobbying and refining your skills, sort of thing?
Yeah, I would say I hear it sounds a bit big-headed, but I've always been a bit creative. I want to put my mind to something. I want to be good at it, and like I say, I research it, and I do like messing and that. I suppose, yeah, I am quite creative in everything I've done.
Yeah.
So, and that's my favourite part. Aquascaping, I love. You hear it all the time, but the old empty tank, blank canvas, it is that way. I love it. When I've got an empty tank, I hate stripping it. When I've stripped the tank, that does me head in. But as soon as it's empty, it's clean, it's like, wow, it's time to go again and getting creative. That's the best bit about it. Yeah.
Planning.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Planning.
Planning, yeah. You're planning it. There's always something in my head. I'm usually like 3 scapes ahead of myself. So I've got a tank, and I'm like, I need to keep it going for at least a year. But then I've got about 3 years of scapes in my head.
So what's your process? Sorry, just when you were talking about planning, what's your process for planning a new scape? Is it something that just pops into your head after seeing something, or do you sit down and think, right, I've got a certain material, the series stone that I want to use, and you build around that, or if it's a certain type of plant that you want to incorporate, do you start from there?
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of all those things, depending on the tank. Like I say, I'll see a scape, or you'll see something online that inspires you, or on a walk on the coast, you'll see something, and if I see like a nice line of rocks, or I see a photograph of a rocky stream, I'll picture that, and I think, right, I'd love to like create something like that with those kind of rocks, sort of thing. So that's taken from a photograph. Well, at times it's like you said, I've got materials lying about, and I need to put them to use, and you'll try and create something with those materials you've got. Sometimes that's a bit limiting, because you could always do that little bit extra. You're like, don't force that stone or force that piece of wood in, but you've got to, because that's all you've got. Sometimes, like I say, as to fish, like my living room tank at the minute, I knew the type of scape I wanted roughly. It'll be a good home for me angels. I've got a Rio Nene angel fish, and I want a nice home for those. So it's a mixture of everything you said there. Or sometimes I'm just itching to escape, and I'll just strip the tank for the sake of it, because I'm itching to do something, and then something just flows. I'm like, oh yes. And
that flow, the word flow, it's something that pops up quite often when we're talking to aquascapers or anybody, and it was something McColdy, he actually used that quite a lot, that phrase, when I used to talk to him a lot, and he said you would get in the flow. And when he was in the flow, it was when he was lying in the water filming fish for maybe an hour, 2 hours. He would forget about the time, and he would be in the flow.
Yeah,
and I know what that's like when aquascaping, because once it activates, so to speak, it's like everything's just hyper focused, isn't it? And things you weren't even thinking about just come at the front of your mind, and it's an amazing feeling when you get to that point.
It is, and that's the strange part about us being a video creator or like YouTube and stuff like that. You want to get in the flow with your tank, and a lot of times I haven't filmed escape, and I could kick myself because I haven't, because I've got nothing to make the video with, because I've been in the flow escaping. I didn't want videoing it to spoil it, sort of thing. But that's silly, because that's the main thing. I want to be a decent YouTuber and show my audience how I'm escaping these tanks. But it's one thing I've got to learn. It's like keep the camera there all the time, just film and still getting your flow, instead of go, oh, stop that, that wasn't good enough, or this wasn't good enough. Don't worry about the video, just let the video go and stick in your flow. The reason I mentioned flow and skates, because you get in the flow of actually escaping, but then you want to create a good flow within the aquascape. So that's why you hear that a lot about the flow. It's because the shape of the wood's got a flow with the eyes. It's, you know what I mean? There's all that sort of thing. So I suppose that's a good way of putting it. I should have wrote that down. When you're in the flow, you've got to create a flow.
I know what you mean with like the creating videos, and when you're doing stuff, it pulls you out from what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like really easily. And if you can work out a way of having it just there in the background without taking attention, then you stay. But you kind of get in and out, and it's quite a weird dynamic. Unless you record a lot of videos while you're doing things, it's very hard to kind of understand that process of having to get back in and out of it all the time as well. Yeah. I mean, I don't do it for aquascaping, but I record what I do throughout the day, and like I'm in the middle of something, I could have recorded that for the last 20 minutes and got something out of it, and then I'll just put my phone up, start doing it. Oh, well, now I'm out of what I was actually doing in the first place. So it's a really weird dynamic to work through.
I think I've got something like now. I've had a good think about which way I want to take my YouTube channel while I'm creating hopefully decent escapes, and I'm quite excited about it. It's like new. It's like I've done a video the other week. I've just done a brand new aquascape, and the way I videoed it felt good, and I really enjoyed doing it. So it was like I was happy with how come the escape, and it was a nice relaxed video where I'm just setting up and chatting with the mic on without having to look at the camera all the time, and it's been a nice little format, and I'm happy with that. So hopefully that makes things more enjoyable. I can enjoy escaping while making good content for what's a cool audience. So, and obviously attract new people to my channel. That's the main thing.
If you're enjoying it, that'll come through as well, and then more people will enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. You say you're in this act. I'm not one to hide my excitement. I'm always like, oh, I'm excited. Oh, look at this. Oh, doesn't this look great? I'm a bit enthusiastic. So, yeah.
We've had ourselves another question. Cam John Mark, what is your favourite fish?
You want to start? We'll go in order. Cam first.
Okay. Mine almost changes daily because I have so many fish here in the shop. My current favourite is the koi swordtails, because I've been spending a lot of time with them over the last couple of days, grading them out, bringing them into the shop, getting them all ready for that. So at the moment, the koi swordtails are really, really doing it for me.
Mm-hmm. I'd say one of my all-time favourites is the crebensis.
All right, yeah.
It was one of the first fish that I seen breeding when I was younger, and it was the first fish I bred purposefully as well. So got a lot of good memories with it, and they're awesome looking fish, especially the females.
Yeah. When they're in colour, when they're in breeding form, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Very fierce as well. What about you, Mark?
Favourite fish I haven't had, which I would love and have a tank big enough, is autumn angels. Absolutely stunning. I probably have to say my favourite fish ever is, I've just got a thing about them, is ember tetras. I love ember tetras in an aquascape. It's the bright orange with the greens. Seems to go gorgeous. And to go nice in the nature creme style and go nice in the Iwagumi style, like a landscape. So, yeah. My favourite fish I'd love to have is autumn angels. And my favourite fish I've probably used the most is in my terrace. Yeah.
Cool. And we've had another question from the floor. This is from Rochelle. I think I'm just going to slightly word it differently. She said, with aquascaping, to be 100% satisfied is very rarely accomplished. No one can compete with Mother Nature's aquascaping. I'm going to slightly adjust that to, are you satisfied when you complete a scape, or is there always a little burning thing that goes, I'm not quite where I'm happy with that, or I need to do a wee more work, or how does that end process work for you?
Every time. I'm never 100% happy. And that's why it's always a process. You'll do an aquascape, and as it develops, plants grow a bit different to what you expected. Some plants don't grow so well, others grow better than what you expect. So it's constantly evolving as well. But I think that's the beauty of it as well. You have created your own little piece of nature at home, which is constantly evolving. You never see what it's finally going to look like. So I think that's the exciting part, but I'm never 100% happy with what I do. I think it's part of like being a bit of a perfectionist. What is, is nature perfect? No. But it's, that I think if you accept, you do an aquascape. I was just talking to someone the other day, and I was saying aquascapes look a bit crap when you just finish them. Especially now you use tissue culture in vitro plants, so you can't see anything. But 4 months down the line, once you've looked after that scape and nurtured it, and you see the plants growing, and I suppose that nature in your aquarium happens, it's like, wow. And now you don't appreciate the time when you look at previous tanks, which you no longer have. You'll see photographs and go, wow, that was a good tank, that. And yes, it was, I was really chuffed with that. But at the time, I probably picked it a bit. So it's crazy. But I think that's right. You're never 100% happy. But when you're out in Mother Nature, it tends to be you'll visit somewhere and you'll see somewhere. But if you go see that every week, does it look as good as it did the previous week? During autumn, winter, does it look as good as summer? It's constantly changing. You'll see a tree that you love, and it's just bare and looks a bit ugly and feeling sorry for itself. Go in autumn when the leaves are bright red, and you know what I mean. It's constantly changing and evolving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bit long-winded that, but
so good.
You get what I mean?
Absolutely. Yep, totally makes sense. Yeah. You've touched on mental health benefits with having aquariums in some of your videos and stuff, and you've personally benefited in this. Do you care to share a little bit about that and that journey for you?
Yeah, I have suffered with mental health problems like pretty serious in the past. Dark depression and stuff like that. I'm really quite open about it, but like severe dark depression. And it works two ways. Sometimes that aquascaping has helped, and it takes your mind off things, and I love that aquascape, get away from it all. Other times it's a chore. It depends on how you're feeling. It's good for anxiety. If I'm feeling anxious and you get stuck in an aquascape, you forget about that anxiety sort of thing. But I think it's it does help. But it's like anything. If you're feeling really dark, depressed, and you don't get out of bed for a week, aquascaping's the last thing on your mind.
Yeah.
But when you're managing your depression, it's a really good part of it. I don't think it's just the aquascaping as well. It's all like you say about nature, going out and walk, appreciating the nature, getting inspired with the nature, and creating something in your fish tank. I think it's all that sort of thing. So that's my experience of it. Yes, at times it's really beneficial. Other times, I'll be honest, it's the last thing on my mind. Can't be bothered with it. And then, but the downside of that is this: you've got a nice aquarium, and then you go through an episode and not bothering. The tank goes to pot, and you've got to maintain it and get it looking right again.
Yeah.
And it's short, but when you get it put right again, you put the effort in, it's like, that was worth it. Wow, looks nice again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's a straightforward answer. But yes, it's really good for my mental health. It all depends on if it's depression, if it's anxiety, if it's stress. But I think on a whole, it's really, really benefited me on a personal level, definitely.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, that's a fantastically real answer, which is,
Yeah.
It's,
I'm quite open about it. Like I say, it's like I've had some dark times, and it's horrible. But the last 6-7 months is the best I've felt in years. So I'm chuffed about that, definitely.
Yeah, you've been doing really well. Obviously, I follow you, and for maybe the last 3 years, obviously I've seen you popping up various places in the UK, and our paths have crossed a couple of times, and obviously more recently you've been doing a lot more travelling as well, which is in that sense it's just proof that you're doing what you're doing very well, and you're reaping the benefits in that now. So
it's crazy the traveling. I've never travelled much, I always wanted to travel, and things have just like come together. I mean, I've been an ambassador for Seachem. I've been with Seachem for about 4 years now, and they've given me some amazing travel opportunities. In the last couple of years, I've been to Dallas, one of the aquascapers. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to the HQ, which is Madison, not far from Atlanta. I've done workshop in Norway. I've been to see the Green Aqua guys in Budapest. I've had some amazing opportunities, and I can't believe it, to be honest. It's like when I look back, I think, wow, I've travelled more in the last 2 years than I've had my whole life. Crazy. So, really good.
All for the love of the aquarium.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like, atmosphere, you think. I sit there and I'm visiting stores and meeting people who are like idols, or I've sit and watched on YouTube myself, and it's like, kind of like collaborating with them. You're going to see them and doing aquascapes at Aquashella in Dallas. You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Did you do any speaking at Aquashella in Dallas?
You what? Sorry?
Were you speaking there, or were you?
I wasn't speaking. No, basically I was with the Seachem team. So Seachem got a booth there. I created 2 aquascapes. It was like 2-foot aquascapes. And people come and talk about the tanks, the setups, what equipment, particularly Seachem equipment, they're using on there, and the type of fert dosing. So you're there to answer questions on planted aquariums and anything else Seachem related. And Seachem had a crazy booth, which was so busy. They had a massive prize wheel, all lit up LED lights, bright colours, and the queues were like just super long to win prizes. They were giving away.
Fantastic, though. They've got some amount of energy. They're a brilliant team. For
a family-run business, it's unbelievable, and I can't get over it. Yeah.
Are they a family-run business?
Yeah, Seachem, family-run business. Yeah.
Did not know that.
You got the CEO, the chairman, is the owner, Joe Hill. He owns a company, and it's a family-run business, and everything's done from Seachem HQ. The products are made there, they're shipped from there, everything, and they've got an amazing bunch of reps who just travel 24/7.
I know.
It's crazy. So, Cam, who do you deal with in New Zealand with Seachem? Who's your Seachem rep?
Amanda, but I don't believe I've met her. I haven't met her yet. Yeah.
Amanda. Amanda's amazing. Amanda, yeah. Oh, she's lovely.
I follow her about on Facebook and watch her journeys. Looks fantastic, and I'm trying very hard to get Brian on with us as well. We just haven't been able to, because they obviously travel so much. We just haven't been able to secure a wee time slot, but we're working hard at hopefully getting that in the next couple of months. So again, watched his journeys around the place, so it'd be cool to get him on and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
Amanda, I think last year she travelled like Australia, South Africa. I'm not sure about New Zealand, but she travelled with Lewis Navarro, who's like, he's a aquascaper, so he's an amazing aquascaper. He knew Takashi Yamano. He's kind of like worked alongside Takashi Yamano. And
I met both them down at the ALF event. I met the two of them.
Yeah.
We spent the night with them. They're a really good company as well. Yeah. Funny.
Brilliant. I've seen it. Brian's just so you can't not like Brian. He's like, other Seachem, I mean, they're an awesome bunch, class bunch, and I feel lucky to be a part of it, like the ambassador program. So yeah, if you meet Amanda, say hello. she's great. So.
Cool. So we can jump to a question that we had a little bit deeper in the list now. We're talking about it. So you just discussed that you are a CChem ambassador. How did that come to be, and what does that mean?
Well, there's a shop, aquascaping specialist store here in the UK called Horizon Aquatics, which is in the northeast UK, and they had set up shop. And when I went to see them, got get to know them and stuff, they obviously been in the game for years since they were kids. James and Nicole, who are a couple who own Horizon Aquatics, and I was like just getting on my YouTube, so we kind of like got to know each other, and like it was crazy. I always remember this conversation. We were standing in the like near the display, the CChem display, and me and James were talking. James went, I had never considered like sponsorship going for like a CChem. I was like, wow, CChem, no chance. But it would be great, but nah, I'm too little for that. But anyways, I think James had spoke to different reps, mainly ELF. You mentioned ELF?
Yeah.
ELF are the distributors here in the UK for CChem. And I got a phone call saying they would like to sponsor a tank. So give us the equipment for the tank, the ferts, the soils, that sort of thing. So I was like, wow, yeah, that'll be great. And then I had a video call a few weeks after that, initially saying, look, we're thinking about starting an ambassador program and we'd like you to be the first. And I was like, what? So yeah, so that was about 4 years ago, and great ever since. And all that means it's I represent here in the UK CChem products for planted aquariums, and that's what I do, and I've loved it.
Cool.
Yeah, I just promote CChem, but obviously you don't want to do it in like a sales pitch way. I'll only use what I generally think work, and I've got my own like dosing routine with CChem products, and hand on heart, can't fault them. Some people think they're over complex, the Flourish range, but when you look at it and explain it how things work in a planted aquarium, it's not as daunting as people think, because everyone wants an all-in-one. And I'm not an all-in-one fan. I like the dose separately, because if I know I need to add something or take something away, I can do that. So, and it's like in my videos, I try and get that across, and I've had some good feedback saying that, oh yeah, it makes sense, and the way you dose liquid ferts, that's just one example, and I use different products of CChem. So being an ambassador, yeah, just obviously hoping I'm representing what I think is an amazing brand. I've used CChem for years, way before I was an ambassador for CChem, and do believe in them. I think they're quality products.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how that come about. So just a video call saying, would you like to be our first ambassador? So I was like, nah, no chance. Nah, I was blown away, and still totally like, it's an honor. It's great, love it. A little old me, it's like, wow. Yeah.
Are you the only UK ambassador, or is there a couple of them hanging around now?
I think I'm the only UK ambassador. I'm not 100% sure if there's someone in the Salt game or Reef game who's an ambassador. I'm 100% sure yet, but I think at the minute I'm the only UK one. But they've got some huge ambassadors, you know. You've got Aquarium Info, Jamie. She's like one of the biggest fish keeping YouTubers there is.
Yeah, good.
You talk about, I think, 4 or 5 million subscribers, which is wow. Yeah, but it was strange when I was in Dallas. I was there, so I've got like 10,000 subscribers. Little old planted aquarium, Mark, Geordie Scaper there doing aquascaping, and then you've got Kev, Caveman Aquatics, and you've got Jamie. They're like superstars. People are asking for photographs with them. Little kids with Jamie and then crying and that. Oh, and then there's me going, "Hey, all right." But they were lovely as well, love. Both Kev and Jamie, lovely people, and obviously meeting them was just great in itself. But yeah, the CCAM certainly got a brilliant reputation, like with the way it's going. I think the ambassador program's just going to get better and better for them.
Cool.
And they haven't got loads of ambassadors. I think in a way that's good.
That's better.
Yeah,
it works better.
Yeah, so I think in certain areas they'll concentrate on certain areas. Obviously, that's a good thing. So you've got your monster fish keepers, which is huge in America. Aquascaper, you've got myself in the UK, but obviously my biggest audience on YouTube is America, to be honest. Why with this accent? I don't know, but yeah,
it's probably the accent that's doing it.
Even the subtitles don't understand my accent.
I feel you. I feel you big time with that one.
But yeah, I'm not just saying that. They're a brilliant company, family run, brilliant, and the opportunities they give me is just amazing in quite a short space of time. So yeah, I'm thankful and definitely. Hopefully,
it continues to grow then, and it can benefit the community a lot longer as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. I've seen just before we came on live here to Cam about. I just got a really good feeling about this year, and this is the year I know which direction I'm going with YouTube and things. So make it more structured and obviously be more. I want to be like really good instructional videos where people are going to learn from the videos and get inspired by the videos, and that'll go hand in hand with promoting CCAM as well. Like I say, not in a sales pitch matter, not like, oh, buy this product. This is great. It's like the proof's in the pudding. It's like, I use these and this is the results I get. Yeah. Be genuine about it. So, yeah. One of the best plant aquariums I've had, hand on heart. You know, I mentioned they were going to sponsor the aquarium before the ambassador program started. Well, that still went ahead. They sent us the equipment and everything I needed, and I'd done the full dosing routine on a 60-centimeter aquarium setup. And it's the best plant growth I've ever had. Best plant growth, hardly any algae issues. The health of the plants was just amazing, and that was using the full CCAM dosing system. And I was blown away because that's the first time I've actually followed the full dosing system. I tweaked it now and then here and now, which just makes it easier for myself and easier to get across to people. But it works. There's no doubt about it. It definitely works.
Cool. So what's your process for your fertilizers? I wrote this down a little while ago, and now we've kind of led to that, which is great. So what is your process when it comes to fertilization? What do you use? What don't you use? How does that work for you?
Like I say, you can follow the full dosing system with CCAM, but there's certain things I don't use and I don't need because of my water. I've got soft water where I'm from, and I think with the experience you get to gauge what your plants need and that sort of thing. But in general, do you want to know my dosing routine? Is that what you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if I dose daily with Flourish Trace, so all the trace elements, dose that daily because trace elements deplete really quickly in a planted aquarium environment, and that's what your plants need. So if anything, that's an important one. So you can use trace. I just use actual Flourish if you want to make things easier. Flourish is the trace elements with a few other things and added iron as well. But just the trace is just the actual trace elements, and I prefer to dose that daily. Potassium is something I also deplete really quick in a planted tank environment, so I dose potassium daily as well. And later down the line, it's all as and when. If I think the plants, if there's a lot of red plants in there or a lot of greedy plants, which are heavy root feeders and heavy feeders, I'll dose a little bit more iron. If I see a lack of colour on certain plants, I might think it's nitrogen, so I'll up the nitrogen and that sort of thing. But in general, trace and potassium or Flourish and potassium. It's kind of hard to explain, but it makes sense once you dose.
Yep.
And the way I dose, I'll be honest with you, if the world's biggest legend in aquascaping doses that way, if it's good enough for him, I'll do it. Takashi Amaro, he dosed daily with trace elements. and potassium. Later down the line, as your tanks matures, maybe he's had a bit more iron, nitrogen. That's exactly the way I do it. So I've just copied him.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he's quite a big deal in the hobby, so he must be doing something right.
Yeah,
Just a
his
little bit.
tanks look okay as well. So yeah.
Yeah, copy the legend.
Mhm.
So you're on an auto dosing system, correct?
I'm on an auto dose system in living room. Well, I'm supposed to be. I haven't even set it up yet. I've got the sentient dosing system, CChem. I need to set it up because it will make life so much easier. But I've never had an auto dose system before, and I'm just old school. But it's amazing, and I need to do it. So there's a video. I'll have to do a video setting that up.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming soon. And I've got them sitting there, and I kind of just let them go to waste. So yeah, they'll be done. But the rest of my tanks in my room, I'm not doing auto systems because I've got too many separate tanks. There's going to be about 9 setups in there in total, just small setups. So there's going to be nanos and shallows, better tanks, and there's a couple of 2-foot tanks in there. So I'll have to dose separate because each hold different needs as well. The amount of water I've got. I tend to dose different as well. If something's more, if something's CO2 injected, I'll dose different to one that's not CO2 injected. So it's things like that. Like if they're not CO2 injected and it's using really low levels of light, I only dose a couple of times a week. Where more the high end, the CO2, and you've got high levels of light, you'll dose more because the plants need that. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, it's not set in stone. It's like, I think it comes with experience. You get to know your tank. So even if you've got one planted tank at home, you know when something's not right with the plants, or you get algae issues, stuff like that. So it's like, that's when you might want to look at your dosing routine, light levels, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a bit, there's no like easy answer, unfortunately, especially when it comes to algae.
Can you talk to the difference between Flourish and Flourish Excel? I know it's a common issue or misconception within the hobby, people thinking that they're both the same product or confusing the two products. Are you able to talk a little bit to what they are, what they, particularly Excel, what they do and how they work together and how they work in planted aquariums?
Yeah, 2 totally different products. And if you want to choose one over the other on something to use on a regular basis, Flourish.
Yep.
Flourish is the one that's your trace elements and a little bit of iron. So that's something your plants are going to need on a daily basis. If you want to add additional, Excel is going to help. Obviously, the liquid, they kind of like work hand in hand. I don't think Excel on its own can work as well as it would with Flourish, but you can use Flourish on its own. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to buy anything, one CChem product, Flourish is the one to go for. Like say your trace elements, which your plants need, and your iron. Excel is just that liquid form. It's really complex. So everyone goes against, it's only good for killing algae and stuff like that. It's not. You need Excel to work hand in hand with other CChem products. Don't use nothing. If you've got Excel at home and you use nothing, put that on your tank. I would go the other way. Just use nothing but Flourish. And you only need that a couple of times a week as per bottle instructions. So that's what if people ask me, if I was to buy any one CChem product, what would it be? I would say Flourish, definitely. Mm-hmm. Excel will work excellent with Flourish. So if you're going to buy 2, yeah, great. That's why I think you usually get a little plant fundamental packs. Is it Flourish it comes with? I think it's Flourish, iron, and what's that? Sorry,
I believe so. Yeah, Flourish, iron, Excel from memory.
Flourish, iron, and yeah, Excel. I think it is, and that's why, because them work in combination with each other really well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a catalyst effect where you can't. Yeah, Excel work really good with Flourish, but I wouldn't use just Excel on its own. Out of all the CChem products, don't use nothing but Excel. Yep, that's my advice. Like I say, if you're going to go out there and say, what CChem product will be best on your plants, go with Flourish. It's got the most benefits to your plants in there, definitely.
I can tell you exactly what the Fundamentals plant pack is. I'll just bring it up. I can't tell you. Excel, iron, and Flourish. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Hey, got it right. But that's why
so,
the plant fundamentals are there. That's why them are used. So
yeah. So this is a question for me, and I would like to know the answer to it. I personally quite like Flourish Advance. I think it's quite a good product, particularly when setting up a new aquarium or putting new plants in. What are your thoughts on that, and how does that differ from standard Flourish?
Seachem Flourish Advance is one of my favorite products. It's not the best because when you first get Flourish, when you first get plants, especially like your tissue culture plants, the babies, and they can't handle a lot of nutrients at once. So Flourish Advance has got special, like the growth hormones in, which really stimulate root growth and new shoots and buds. And that's what it says on the bottle in a nutshell. But it really does work, I've found. Do our classes like that, kind of got a little metaphor for it. Our classes, if you have a baby, you don't go give it solid straight away. You've got baby plants, you want to start on formula. And I think Flourish Advance is that formula. It helps the plants adapt gradually. So I use it for 2 weeks. I use nothing, but I'm just dosing one of my tanks with it at the minute. Nothing but Flourish Advance, and then I'll ease off that, and then I'll use Flourish Advance after every heavy trim as well to stimulate new buds and I can't think of the word. New shoots, buds and shoot growth. So, because obviously when you're trimming a plant, you're temporarily damaging it. So Flourish Advance is going to help that. So yeah, that's my little, I don't know if it's right, but that's my little thing for it. Baby formula.
That makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah, but it's an excellent product. I found some people said to me as well, you know, with crypts, you get crypt melt. It's prevented crypt melt.
Yep.
And it's your crypts adapt more to the underwater conditions. So rather than the leaves melt like they do, which is normal and harmless, because you will get your plants are adapting better and changing. I found that with certain tanks, some have, some haven't. But I know people swear by it for the first 2 weeks. And definitely I've done that for years now. Flourish Advance, and I've got a couple of short videos, and I'm like, this product was great when you first set a tank up. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm Team Advance, particularly for crypts, preventing crypt melt. I've found more often than not it will help prevent crypt melt with it.
Yeah. So there's another one on the list to say that's really helped. So it's good to hear that, and I'll give Seachem that feedback as well, because you're one of a lot of people say that now. So brilliant. Yeah, it's really good. So baby food for plants.
It's not 100% given, but it helps more often than not, in my experience, playing around with crypts to avoid it.
That's what I think.
And try and promote it to people for exact same reason when they're buying crypts. And most people come back said crypts didn't melt. Every now and then they did. Probably a few other little bits and pieces going on, but yeah, as an overall, I think it's fantastic for that startup period, and for if you're playing around with crypts. So yeah,
it's just a gentle dose of fertilization without being too heavy, where your plants can handle it. So, like I say, for the first 2 weeks, great, and then maybe go on your Flourish or your Trace, which I was saying, giving them those. But Flourish as well is really, it's really strong and potent as well. So you only need a tiny amount, so it lasts for ages. But yeah, I would say Flourish Advanced, definitely one of my favorite products there is there. Out of all products, not just Seachem, it's just a really good, helpful product. And so it's good to hear you said exactly the same. So it's good.
Fantastic. We've had a question from a floor. We've had two. I think maybe the question about us saying something might be too far gone now, so we'll stick with Rochelle. What's your view on aquasoil just as a general product? Doesn't have to be any of the Seachem stuff, but the aquasoil for plant growth and promotion and all that kind of stuff.
I've used aquarium soil for years. There's loads of different brands, and I swear by it. I love it because it's not messy. You're not taking any risks by, if using outdoor style, you're risking pesticides and any nasties getting in the aquarium where you know there. It's made for aquariums. It's fit for purpose. And I just know by my root growth and plants I've grown in the aquarium environment has been amazing. And I've used it for years and I'll continue to use it for years. I wouldn't try anything else, and I wouldn't risk using soil from outdoors or your general. But I know a lot of people skaters do and have results from that, but personally, I would stick with aquarium specific soils. And they're all good, to be honest. There's loads of good different brands there. Obviously, I use a Seacam, but I prefer the Aquavit Raw Aquastolum. That's my soil of choice. I've used it so many times. So many times. And I would personally definitely stick with aquarium specific soils rather than putting things at risk, because it can be so many nasties in soil from outdoors.
Yeah.
Or pond soil, that sort of thing. I just wouldn't risk it. It's messy as well. But if you've got aquarium specific soil, it's easy to plant in. It doesn't make a mess, so it doesn't cloud your water. And some soils that aren't specific to aquarium tanks, even if you cap it, you disturb it slightly. Wow, it's just a cloud of dirt in the aquarium. You'll never get that.
Aquarium specific soils. With that stuff, you know what you're getting every time.
Yeah.
And you can count on that and rely on it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. So, yeah, I'm not just saying, I've used it for years, way before sponsorship, ambassador programs. I wouldn't use anything else but aquarium specific styles. And like I say, there's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Just back to being a Seacam ambassador. What's been your highlight of that so far?
That's got to be Aquascaper, surely.
It's not. I love Aquascaper. Don't get us wrong. But my first visit, I got invited there for Christmas to Seacam HQ, and that was the highlight. Just meeting the team, seeing how the team get on. A tour of the warehouse where all the products are made. I had a visit to the labs where actually things go wrong. The Seacam, so I spoke to the senior lab technician, and that was just fascinating, and just visit them. And it was just, I think it was more my vibe. Madison's just a small town, and it was just a nice place, really chilled, and I really thoroughly enjoy it. Aquascaper was total flip side of that. Super busy, really good, huge Dallas. Everything's big in Dallas, in Texas, and it's true. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was amazing, super busy. But my personal highlight was my first ever visit to see Seacam. It was just nice to be getting invited to see the guys, how they go on. And I think every year they get together just before the Christmas. Annually, everyone gets together and they go through the full, how the previous year's been and what's planned for the year after. And just being part of all that was, amazing. There was me and another.
It would be quite a personal experience, especially with it being family run.
That's what I think I enjoyed about it. Yeah, they took us for meals, and it was just great. I loved it. So that was more my thing, more my vibe, and it was the personal thing. I think my first trip to the States, and it was just a nice personal thing. And much it was work, it wasn't work. Where Aquascaper was work, full on. But it was amazing, don't get us wrong, but I think more my vibe, more my thing, and a bit more special, a bit more meaningful was my first visit to Madison, Georgia, Seacam HQ. Brilliant.
You've recently done a black tie event with Seacam. What was all? I was actually going to take the photo of it and use it for our thumbnail, but I decided not to in the end. What was all that about? And how was that experience?
Again, I think Seachem invited their partners and everyone, like, internationally to this event. And it was originally for the 30th anniversary of Seachem, but the 40th anniversary clashed with COVID, so that couldn't happen. So it's actually, this was 44 years, and it was just to celebrate that 44 years with their partners, distributors, ambassadors. And wow, that was just amazing. My first black tie event I've never walked up in my life, so that was like, wow. But yeah, it did make you feel a bit special and see what goes on. It was a mix of everything. It was like exciting, quite emotional at times actually when they give the speeches to the employees of the year. And, they had played a video which a couple of the ambassadors featured on, and different members of staff saying what Seachem meant to them, and coming from this senior staff. And yeah, it was amazing. And it was a Georgia Aquarium as well in the room. So you had the function room, like the ballroom. So you went in Georgia Aquarium, and honestly, it's just, I think 2 or 3 of the walls was the biggest tank. So one wall, you were sitting having a meal, and behind you there's like whale sharks.
Wow.
Yeah, the whale sharks and stingrays and yellowfin tuna. There was no fish on the menu, obviously. No fish on the menu. But and then the other wall was the beluga whales. So you're in this place having gorgeous food, watching these speeches. That's it. What an experience! I can't thank Seachem enough for that experience. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it was for. It was 44 years anniversary, which they originally wanted to do for the 40th.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that's how that come about. So they might have one again for the 80th anniversary. Yeah, amazing, amazing.
You've mentioned Aquashella a couple times. For those that are not aware of Aquashella, can you explain a little bit what that is, how that works, and the magnitude of what it actually is?
Aquashella, obviously, the shows held around the world, the aquatic shows held around the world, here in the UK, and there's different ones, there's big ones in Europe, Germany, I think. And Aquashella is the biggest one in the States, I would say, or one of the biggest ones in the world. It's like all the aquatic, all the big brands get together in one place, and it's a huge place. The one in Dallas was just huge. So, and it's everything. It's aquascaping, it's the reef side, it's general fish keeping, monster fish, betta fish, everything. And it's for the general public come in and see what goes on and behind the scenes with these companies, and obviously they're selling their products and what's the word, showcasing their products, getting everyone involved, and all ages as well, from the older generation, the kids, and it's just huge. So there's just hundreds of stand stalls there, and you just go around all the different companies, and the general public just have a chat with aquascape, like professional aquascapers, the big names, and it's like social media and YouTube, you'll see all those there. The massive, like I say, just everybody in the aquarium game, the aquatics game, and yeah, it's a huge event. And I think it's one of the biggest ones in the world, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, so there's Aquashella. I went to Dallas, but last year there was one in Dallas, and they did it for the first time in Florida, Daytona Beach. I didn't go to that one, but there was Daytona Beach. That's the first time I've been there. They usually go to Chicago, but that one was called off for some reason. But I think next year there's going to be 3 again, so maybe Chicago, Daytona Beach, and Dallas again. But I don't think I'm going this year. But yeah, again, just what an experience to be part of, and it's huge. That's the idea behind it. Just let the public see and have a chat with everyone in the aquatic game. Like I say, you name it, it'll be there. All the big products, all the big players in the game. There's talks goes on from experts in the field as well. They'll give public talks. Yeah, I wouldn't give one because they wouldn't understand us.
It's just like a big fish keeping festival, isn't it? A festival like
festival, yeah,
for fish.
Yeah, a festival for the aquatic world. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, everyone looked like we're having mad, crazy fun. Like, do you know, in Dallas, everyone's just so big, tall. I mean, I was talking to people's belly buttons when I was like, wow. Yeah. Dallas,
you're not the tallest, Mark, let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm tiny. But, yeah, it was an experience, yeah. It was super busy. I never stopped when I went there. So I went there, I had to set two tanks up, so it was the light and the filtration, set everything up, do 2 aquascapes, so try and be creative while you're doing all this. But I went the day before, so their steps were done and filled for the day after. So hopefully got some good feedback from the actual aquariums and stuff. But the star of the show was the big prize wheel, and I'm not surprised. It was like huge. Yeah. And some of the prizes were given away. They were just giving away Seachem title filters willy-nilly, sent you dosas. What was the prize? Do you know what it is? You had people who'd win a Sentia dosa. So you know how the like the price of the Sentia dosa system, like modern technology. And they'll say, "Oh, can I just have a bottle of Prime?"
Or the mug.
Crazy.
The joke mug.
Prime is like famous. It is. Prime is like it's like wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck to any company trying to dethrone Prime for a dechlorinator.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Prime is. It's like I said before, way before, and that's that program coming along. I've used Seachem Prime from day one. It is like unless I mean in America it's a bit different. They're crazy with the monster fish, so it's more so the safe, yeah. The smelly stuff, stings. But yeah, over here, Prime's good enough. But yeah, yep. So that's Aquashella, huge.
Roughly, how many people attended it? Do you know? I
don't know. You know, it was ridiculously busy. The full Saturday and the Sunday, like real busy. I don't know what the Daytona Beach one was. I think was a little quieter because it was the first one, but I think the big show in Dallas. I've heard Chicago was meant to be really good as well. I'm not sure what reason it wasn't on last year, but I've heard that's a good show. But I'm not sure about the actual attendance, but it was just non-stop, like big crowds. Yeah.
Very cool. Again, before you mentioned Horizon Aquatics being relatively local to you and being an aquascaping shop, it must be fantastic having someone that close that can help you with what you've been on your adventure for the last few years doing that. Are you finding having an aquascaping centered shop really helpful compared to just a general fish shop?
Yeah, for different reasons, I've become quite close with James and Nicole, who run the store, and will run the store. Sorry, and the way them come on is wow. This shop is absolutely amazing, and they've been really good to me, and I owe a lot to them. In all fairness, from James, get in touch with ALF. I mean, I've got good relations with ALF distributors now, and that's because of the guys at Horizon. Seachem, because of the guys at Horizon, so I owe them a lot. And I think the world of the team. The team's brilliant. And it's not just the shop, you know. It's like it sounds cheesy, but they're building an excellent community, and they have events there, and it's just so like it's amazing. I mean, some of the opportunities that we've had through them. I mean, Josh Sim, world champion,
that was wasn't it?
Meeting him, I was like, I'm talking to Josh Sim, you know, met Josh Sim, watching him at the workshop, and what a guy he was. But again, it's all thanks to the community and the events those guys have put on, because it must be a lot of work to put those events on.
Yeah.
getting them to travel over, the actual event itself, the way they video it, and everyone gets together, everyone gets on great. I mean, there must have been about 40 plus people at that workshop, but you can go there and just chill and enjoy it. It's not your normal shop. I know I sound like proper kissing butt, but it's just hand on heart how I feel. So lucky. I remember it was George Farmer, because everything like tends to be down south in the UK. I mean, you've got that north-south divide, and it's all, everything's down south. It's ours, it's southern as. So now it's like northeast pride type of thing. We've got a really good bunch of aquascapers and excellent community in the northeast UK, and it's thanks to those guys. And it was George Farman, a message a few years ago, said, "Oh, do you know there's a store opening near you?" And they're about an hour away from where I live. I went, really? So I went to an open day, met them, and that's how it all started. That's how it came about. And the store has just come on leaps and bounds. I mean, it was gorgeous when they opened it. I mean, really modern style, and they know the game, they know the products to get in, because they're both, I think, from being kids, have worked in fish stores, aquatic stores, and hobbyists themselves. So I think they knew which way they were going, they knew exactly what they were going to do, and it's an amazing store. Yeah. And like I say, it's not just the shop itself. It is great just going there and you've got your fish, your aquascape, plant-friendly specific fish. You've got those, you've got a showroom to get inspiration from, you've got all the products, reputable products within the game. But then it's just having a chat, and there's always someone there, you'll just sit in the showroom. You'll sit in the showroom. That's a proper YouTube outtake, that.
We're live, baby. Come on out.
You'll sit in the showroom and just get chatting to people, and it's like, you don't go there for like just grab a few products and be in there for the day. It's crazy. I get kicked out half the time. All right, Mark, we're finished. Get out.
We're going home.
Yeah. I just have to say they've done an amazing job, and it's just an amazing place. For me, it's the pride of the Northeast. It's like, wow, it's like,
I've not been myself yet, but I've got plans to come down in the next couple of months, so I will be in to see them soon. Definitely, and I'm looking forward.
You'll love it. It is something you can make a big deal out of. Go there and hang out there, see the scapes, spend a load of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, I've been following.
You love it. It's well worth it. You love it.
Yeah. And just from an online point of view, exactly everything that you're saying comes through via their Facebook and the way that they do it. It's all hobbyist intention, number one, community being built, number one, and just everything they do just seems to be just beautiful and phenomenal, and it's just genuine passion that's driving it as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
If you don't follow them on Facebook, I strongly recommend you just to watch how someone basically at the top of the game is doing it incredibly well.
Yeah, really well. I say they've got a really good Instagram following. YouTube's worth signing up to, because the workshops go on there. You've got a Josh Lim workshop. I'll be going up there. I'm not sure when, but that's a workshop you must see, because obviously being there in person was amazing. But they'll do fantastic video work as well. The video, like I say, the effort that goes in to video it, so the YouTube crowd will get to see an excellent video as well. And you'll see build videos of their escapes in the gallery. It's everything. It's well worth following YouTube, Instagram. So follow me first, and then them.
Do you still have any aquascapes that are running in the gallery?
I don't know, but I'm maybe doing one soon, not as a workshop, but maybe doing escape for their gallery. I mean, we've been talking about it, and I think they're just rejigging their gallery a bit, getting different types of tanks and cabinets in, and just organising it. And once that's sorted, if there'll be a free tank, and maybe go and do escape for them. And so I'm looking for that, because mine had lasted about 18, 19 months.
Yeah.
I've done a workshop. It was my first workshop and their first ever workshop. And yeah, the skate was good. I'd skate the 3-foot tank, and it grew in beautifully. And yeah, it went for about 19 months, but the strip before, well, I guess scapers coming in, you kind of like do a rotation. It's like decorating your house, isn't it? Once you finish, you're back to the start again, you've got to paint it all again. Yeah, I think coming soon, yeah, I'll be scaping a tank, and I'm sure they'll be videoing that for their channel as well. So, but like I say, it's not a workshop, it's just me, which in a way is pretty cool. If I can go there and have all day to scape a tank, I'll be in the element, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's no pressure to do a nice scape. You've had Josh in there, you've got MJ, you've got Tommy from Green Aqua there, he's got a scape in there. Pavel.
Oh, yeah.
Pavel Kalunda. He's an amazing skater.
Oh.
He's had a skate in there, so there's no pressure, right?
No. Here's those
Bringing real meanings to the word gallery.
Aye. But even James and Nicole, I mean, they're talented skaters themselves. Some of the skates it's all like wow, and you can't go in there and not be impressed by this. Some of the nano have got the nano room for the nano fish and stuff like that. They've got shelf displays with little nanos and shadows. I'm blown away by some of them. It's inspired me because that's the type of thing I'm going to do next. So yeah, well impressive. So I'm looking forward to a tank in there.
Is it an old house that's been converted? Like it's quite hard to gauge just from watching it online. Has it been a house converted, or like an office warehouse type of thing that's been converted?
It's quite deceiving because it's quite a decent sized building, but it's on an industrial estate, so it's just a pretty much standard industrial estate building.
Okay.
But it's the layout that makes it. It's got a really good layout.
Yeah.
So it is quite deceiving. I think all the skating stores, there's not loads, but all the skating stores in the UK, like aquascaping specific stores, are on industrial estates. So I think, like I say, it's just the layout of the buildings were ideal.
It's the concrete floors.
You what, sorry?
Concrete floors.
Concrete floors, oh, you need them, like, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think even Green Aqua in Budapest, they had like a converted building, like house sort of thing, and they moved premises, but the premises they moved to is an industrial estate building, like hidden away, but I'm sure it's on an industrial estate again. So it's crazy. Bit of a thing going there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like obviously I've only been able to watch and view online. It felt like an old house, but like the way it kind of one room to another room to this room for this, like it just, and like what feels like a hallway, it feels all encompassing, and like close the door and you're in this whole different world, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That's the vibe you do get, because you get in and just straight away it's like you're greeted by a lovely scape, and then it's good how the second the room off. So you've got the hard scape room, you've got the nano room, you've got the showroom gallery. So yeah, and there's just everywhere you go, there's some sort of small nano tank or there's a scape there. It's just all over the shop.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many there is in total, but I think there's 14 tanks. No, there might be less because we've got bigger tanks. There's about 12 tanks in the showroom, like good size 4-footers, 2-foot tanks. And that's just the showroom alone. But then you've got dotted around in the nano room, shelf, and there's just everywhere you look, there's something. But even the pictures on the wall are well thought out for inspiration. You go through the corridors and just inspirational, like Amano ADA posters. That it's funny, every time I go, I'm sometimes just standing in the corridor looking at posters. I'm like, why do I do that? I've seen them like loads of times, but it's like you say, it's a layout and the feel of the shop's just, it's modern but cozy, and it's house plants all over as well. That makes it. They've got like a thing going with the house plants blended with the aquascapes and everything. So very inspirational place. Very inspirational.
I think the word inspirational is a massive key there. Like again, just purely online, from a shop owner, it feels that inspires me to do better. Let alone coming in as a customer to get inspiration for ideas on what you want your aquarium to look like. So I think inspiration is absolutely a key word there.
Oh, it is not. You see, it's just well thought out, and obviously it's been ongoing. But I think they've just been like relentless with the idea was in the head and thought like, let's do it, and they've done it.
Cool.
100%. Just went for it, and I used to laugh because I worked there for a while as well. I worked for about a year looking after the showroom tanks and stuff, and I used to laugh because I used to say all the time, as soon as something come out of the mouth, an idea of something I want to do, right, that'll be done next week. Sure enough, it is. Not exactly a week, but sometimes once you've said that, you know what's going to happen, and it does happen. It's not just, it's they put the words into action, like, for real. And I used to laugh about it. I still do, and they say, we're thinking about doing this. I went, right, that's going to happen soon, and it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, they work hard, really, really hard, definitely.
Do you think obviously you don't want too many shops in one area, but do you think the UK as a whole is needing to up its game with aquascaping, or are we at a point now where we've got a really strong community, or do you think we're still growing in the sense where
I think you still got to grow. I mean, my main aim is I'd love to go to people, and when you chat to people in general, they don't know what aquascaping is, so that you still need to like push so aquascaping becomes the norm with fish tanks, aquariums, tropical fish. People automatically know, you know what I mean? You want it to be just the norm. Aquascaping is really new to people, and people haven't heard of it. So that's my job as a creator, if you want to say, is just get it to become the norm. Like having a plant in a tank in your house, it's not like just something competition scapers have, or plants are too hard, too much hassle. You want to get across that. No, it's beneficial. Once it's established, sometimes it's easier than having just a fish tank. You know what I mean? It all goes hand in hand, that little ecosystem.
And I suppose it's when you open up the aquascaping kind of umbrella and explain to people that it's not just competition grade immaculate scapes. Aquascaping can still come down on a basic level where you've got 3 or 4 plants but purposely placed in a way that they look appealing. That's aquascaping on a basic entry level. And then maintaining that, it's just that one step away from just putting plants in to help with the water quality. You know, when you step away from the just practical and start thinking, well, aesthetically, then you're aquascaping. And when people realise that they probably are aquascaping already, but they didn't even know it.
Well, it's like aquascaping's creating something that's a good environment for your fish. And it's pleasing the eye for yourself. That's all right. I mean, it's just getting away from the old pink gravel and treasure chest. There's nothing wrong if you want that. Crack on. But to me, again, it's like, I don't think there's anything better than having a little piece of... I'll tell you what, we'll have houseplants, we'll have gardens, because you want that little piece of nature. You can have it aquascaping come about, nature aquarium style come about in Japan, because they've got little tiny apartments, and they were creating a like piece of nature in a 2-foot glass cube, you know what I mean? And that's how it all come about. So it can get more popular because there's more high-rise flats, apartment buildings, rather than spreading that way, they're spreading that way. So there's less and less people with gardens and stuff like that. So that's where houseplants and nature aquarium style planted aquariums can become really popular. But it is just making it become the norm. It doesn't have to be super expensive. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I like hardscape only tanks. You don't have to have plants. Hardscape only tanks with some nice wood in, nice stone. Looks great. ADG do that big style in America, aquarium design group. I mean, I think that's the route those guys went, because not everyone wants to look at their plants, but they want to have something looking nice and natural in the homes, which you can do. But yeah, I think that's my main thing, just make it the norm. I'm thinking about doing a video where I do a survey, just go local stuff and ask people, have you heard of aquascaping? Nah, I mean, guarantee how many people say no. So
that would be really good information for you to have, but B, that would be quite quite cool. I'm just envisioning people on the street get the old microphone in their face. Have you heard of this sort of thing? It'd be quite an interesting little experiment to do that.
In my town, what I might do, I might get a nice punch to the nose, so I better be careful. Excuse me, shut up, boof.
Do you think, obviously, aquascaping in its sense in the UK is definitely a newer part of the hobby, and there's a lot of fish shops, old school fish shops, that don't incorporate aquascaping as a term we get, and it's just we've got I don't know, a cascade of plants with a cascade aquarium with the plants in it. You know the type, and that's it. They've just got some plants, and they don't even entertain hardscape or lighting units or anything aquascaping specific. And do you think, can you see that changing?
I think it's changing already. I think just with the little dealings I've had with likes of ALF and stuff like that, when I've been to their showroom and I've visited a few shops from the trade, done a couple of aquascapes, and I like doing workshops in fish stores because you can promote aquascaping, but I've noticed more and more shops are having little dojo areas where you can do mock-ups of the aquascape, and they're getting more hardscapes. They've got like a little hardscape specific area, so you see little signs of the stores want to get in on the act, which is great. So it didn't have to be, you don't necessarily have to have more aquascaping specialist stores coming around the UK, but having aquatic stores who are getting more in the aquascaping game is just as good. I think it's pretty cool, and I think you will see more and more of that. But it's the same as the UK. I think UK is still ahead of the game with aquascaping than what the States is, for example. I'm not going to say that on a small scale, but I think, Europe's ahead of the game, like Germany, Denmark. Obviously, a lot of your plants are from Denmark and stuff, but they're ahead of the game compared to the UK. But I think they're like severe states. And I think Australia, New Zealand, that sort of thing. I don't think it's quite. Maybe it's a bit behind aquascaping compared to the UK. I'm not 100% sure, but I get the impression of people have.
New Zealand does,
New Zealand definitely is. It's growing. It's improving. There's one dedicated aquascaping shop down south, and there is an online store dedicated to aquascaping up north. But they've only come about in, say, the last 3 or so years. But in that time, the growth has been quite large. There's been more people entering competitions. There's been a couple of Facebook pages that have grown significantly. There's definitely some people that are driving that, and it is absolutely improving. And there's some people that are talking about it more often. And the main thing I've noticed is people trying. It's not just, this is unobtainable. I can try this and I can achieve this. And that's a big change of mindset, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, see, it is fairly new. And you've got tropical fish keepers. That's what tends to be the main one, is tropical fish keepers and salties. So it's like, and then there's little off-takes of that, isn't there? Then your monster fish keepers, you've got cold water koi fish and goldfish, and so it's always them the things that branch off. But I think it will become more the norm aquascaping.
I think
social media be a pain in the butt, but that's what builds your communities as well, your online communities. So
I think it's manufacturers like that have been around, like Flugel and Jewel. They've been around since day dot almost, and when they start to incorporate aquascaping specific products within their ranges, that then makes its way into these older shops that genuinely wouldn't entertain it, but their suppliers are offering it to them. So it's coming not from a social media's influence, but from the industry's influence, and that's when you know that momentum's building.
There's I think there's a lot of stuff there out for lower budgets as well. I'm not trying to beat you there. I mean, at Whale, some of their setups, like you've got aquariums with the cabinets. When I was first in aquascaping, if I seen what they're offering at the price they're offering, I'd buy them straight away. So it is more accessible now, cost-wise, with the companies like that. So, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, it's all well and good, but it's expensive. This is expensive." But it's like any hobby you do, starts off cheap, gets more expensive. Whether you play, if you play football, if you're into motorsports, you play golf. Is your first golf club the same price as one 20 years later? Nah, you'll have the best of the best, and it costs a fortune.
And it's all
like any hobby.
well. It's all relative.
Yeah.
People are happy to spend $600 on a cell phone with not even thinking about it. Ooh, $600 on an aquarium and some plants, maybe not. It's all relative to how people perceive the money that they're spending.
Yet they could buy the cheapest of the cheap fish tank and guarantee if they get into it, the 6 months down the line they'll get something that's treble the price of that and think I should have got it in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do it. Try and shortcuts. I've done it myself. I bought cheap tanks. I thought, for an extra bit, I could have get the one I really wanted. And you think,
and now I've got to spend more money to get that one as well.
Yeah. I mean, any hobby will eat your money up. Doesn't matter what you do. You look at gamers. How much do gamers spend on their setups? Like I say, you list any hobby, and it just turns expensive. So whether that's fish keeping, aquascaping, whatever it is, it'll cost a bomb in the long run.
Yeah.
Do you have any other hobbies other than? Do you have any other hobbies? Do you have any other hobbies or passions other than fish keeping?
I love my music. I'm a metalhead. Love my music. Love going to gigs. Just general walking now. I like forest walks, and I like getting in the outdoors more. That's become a thing. I've got a little leopard gecko, so I've just recently got into reptiles. My daughter wanted a leopard gecko, so I've got a little one of those now. I've got quite attached to her.
That's what happened to me as well. We've got one upstairs as well.
Aye. So, I thought just getting out in the outdoors more. I do like reading and that as well. I've got more of me reading. I think that was more going back to the mental health sort of thing. Reading's really helped us. I tend to have 2 books on the go. One's a bit more light-hearted, stupid stuff, and then I'll have a serious one, which is like helpful of mind. I'm not into mindfulness or anything. I like more like, what's the word? Straight to the point, like no bullshit sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not into mindfulness and like meditation or that. That's not my thing.
No, I didn't think it was.
I do like to read and stuff like that, and just general socialising, So I need to get out.
Yourself writing a book? It seems to be a trend.
I started writing an ebook, to be honest, but I put it on a bit of a back burner because basically it's kind of a book I wanted to get across about aquascaping, and there's a step-by-step there as well, and I've done a step-by-step which had some amazing photographs. Peter, I mentioned earlier, he's a photographer who was asking the questions, and he took some great photos, but when I wasn't 100% happy with the actual aquascape, and I wanted to be like the best it can be for me little ebook. So I think once I get back into that again, get better at the writing, that sort of thing, I will release a little ebook to sell. And if that is okay, who knows? But yeah, it's something I'd really love to go. I think the more I read, the better I'll get at writing. So I think just keep on going with that sort of thing.
It's like any skill. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a writer, but I do like putting pen to paper, and it'd be nice to like get there on paper and share it, sort of thing.
Yeah, and just to have that book, you did that. That's your knowledge.
It's I suppose we're off the tick list.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I put it on the back burner as well, it's like I really want to focus on my YouTube this year and work hard at that and get some structure to it, know where I'm going with it, and that's starting to happen. So I think hand in hand with doing my little mini studio, that's getting there, and it's like I hate just talking about stuff. It's like I want to show like this is the way it's gonna be, and start doing the videos exactly the way I want to do them. Yeah, basically the format's going to be like doing a setup, but from scratch, so from empty tank to how it looks 4-6 months down the line, and show that in one video. Because
I can see that point where to show it 6 months down the line, that's something that a lot of YouTubers lack. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that I'll show you the tank setup, and then they walk away, and you never get to see what happens after they've set it up and filled it.
Yeah, exactly.
That disappoints me because it's it's one thing flooding a tank, but is it practical? Is it maintainable?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that fall up, and often when you do see it in the glands, it's different plants. It's, so it's obviously not sustainable for them. But I think that would hold a lot of value having that 6 month period. That I think.
Well, that's what I do. So it's basically I've set a tank up. I've got the video footage of that setup, but I have to let it sit. I've started editing and stuff, but I'm not doing it. Even if people say, I'm dying to see it, it'll be worth it once you see the full. Because it used to annoy me. I watched some of my videos back and I look and go, oh yeah, that looks good, and it's good doing a setup video. And then the final thing you see of that video is a tank just filled, which sometimes a plant in a aquarium look a bit crap when it's just filled. And the audience is left disappointed.
Yeah.
See if it fades to black, you see, this is immediately after filling, and then it fades to black, and you're seeing that 4 month banner line. People are like, wow, look at the difference, and they're left feeling good.
Yeah.
So that's going to make people subscribe and like your video more. And I don't know why I just didn't think logically about it. It's like rushing a video out and say, oh yeah, how to, or step-by-step video, but doesn't show you what that's going to look like in 6 months time. You're not seeing what the best of that tank is.
Exactly. We need to show them, the process, the planning, and the construction. That's got value in itself. But then to show them what goes into maintaining that, what products you use, what routine you've got, that is more valuable than showing anybody how to set a tank up. Because anybody can set any kind of tank up, but if you can't maintain the plants in that tank, you're going to fail all the time.
I mean, my initial video will be the from setup to how it looks.
Yeah.
But there'll be videos coming off that of like, this will be my favorite routine, or this will be a general maintenance video on that tank. But at least in that first initial video they're seeing it from an empty tank to how a plant aquarium does look.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, I'm left disappointed if I watch a video and all you say at the end is it just planted and just filled. It's like, well, it's disappointing. It doesn't look great. Where you wait 4 months and you say, oh, that tank looks 4 months. That's like, wow, it's totally different. And then you'll say, just keep an eye on the channel. People will subscribe because they want to see more on that tank because they know how good it looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my chain of thought, and I've got to structure out my videos and the structure of the year. I'm going to have coming up about 9 scapes, but rotate them properly and release them when they're fully established or nigh on established anyways. So that's the plan.
Nice. Cool. So that has a gazillion questions for me. Gazillions and I'll go a real short one first. What was the last gig that you went to?
Last gig? Buried Tomorrow. You know Buried Tomorrow?
No, never heard of them.
Oh, really good. Metalcore band.
Yeah.
Before that was Slipknot. Yeah. Slipknot before that.
There is a friend of, for lack of a better term, the friend of the fish room, who I can assure you will watch this or listen to this, and as soon as you say that, he'll text me and say, have you not heard of that band? Like, I can almost assure you that he will give me some sort of shit because he is a massive metalhead, and he will go, have you not heard of them? Why haven't I seen you that? Or something along those lines.
Right. So, Buried Tomorrow, a British band, metalcore. They're pretty cool. I went to see them. It's funny, I've just been James messaged that day. James, the owner of Horizon Aquatics, he mentioned going to see Korn. And I'm not a huge Korn fan, but I've seen them live and they go live, and I thought, oh yeah, that'll be a good day. Regardless, I'll go and see any band live because it's just, I love it. But Korn are good live.
Yeah, they're on my list that I want to go and see if they ever tour again.
Yeah, I have seen quite a few bands. Do you know what I've seen when I was younger? I've seen Pantera, Alice in Chains. I've seen all the classics. Megadeth, Metallica,
cool,
Slayer. I've seen them all. I love my gigs. Best band to watch live are Slipknot, because it's just nine guys going off the nut crazy. So you kind of not like it.
my brother went last time they toured New Zealand. He said they were brilliant, just full of energy, full action the entire show, and loved every second of it.
And when you think Corey Taylor's singer, he's 50 now. It's crazy. So yeah, Slipknot, and probably the classic bands I've seen best is Pantera. I seen Pantera when I was about 17, and I was just like, whoa, wow. Nice. So crazy. Yeah, I'm a metalhead. Love it.
All right, so back to the aquarium-y stuff. This is in relation to the New Zealand aquascaping scene. Helen said we get 6 to 10 requests to join the New Zealand aquascaping page every day. That adds up and pretty quickly. So yeah, it's definitely a growing scene here, far bigger than what it was several years ago. So yeah.
That's good. That's good, though. That's what you want. And so things are improving. At least you know it's not on the downside, because you get a lot of people in the marine game saying there's a lot of people pulling out the salty aquariums and for different reasons, corals and things like that. And you do hear maybe people will read that's on the decline. I hope it's not, because that's an amazing hobby in itself. But it's nice to see aquascaping's on the incline in different areas. So
yeah.
I think anything in aquariums, you just want more people to have aquariums in the house, don't they?
Everybody should have one.
Yeah, it's just great. So I class it as me garden. That's what I mean. It's me garden.
Yeah.
So Helen's brought up another question, which actually leads me into a question I wanted to ask. She said it's a whole other skill level to keep a tank going and growing for well over a year. 6 months and they're only just growing in properly. Plus, tearing down a tank for 6 monthly just confirms that thinking that fish are a disposable decoration, which I agree with. But my question leading from that is, how long do you keep your aquascapes running for?
I try aim for a year. The ones I've tore down, it's not necessary that I'm not managing them. I get impatient and want to rescape them.
Yeah.
But I've got fish I've had for years, and they're constantly getting changed from tank to tank. So that's all right if you've got multiple tanks. But fish are an important part of me. I mean, a lot of aquascapers get criticised. No, it's all about the plants in the tank. And it's not about the fish. But I disagree with that, because to me, I'm trying to make the best environment possible for me plants, which hand in hand goes with the fish, because I love me fish. But I would never just get rid of fish for a scaper. I would pass them on. The good thing with having a community as well, you can pass your fish. Some people say, oh, look, I'm stripping my tank, I'm going smaller, so you want to take these bigger fish in. And there's always people spotting. You have got to look after your fish. So that's a massive thing. But to me, it's like my angels as well. I've got angels in my living room, and I'm looking at them there, because they're mad. I absolutely love them. Best fish I've ever had. They're Rio Nene, so Nanny or Nene. They're the closest thing. So I get the ultimate angels I was talking about.
Yeah.
But I always think it's like when you're setting the tank up as well, you're thinking about, well, what fish am I going to put in here? I'll try and think the fish I want in there, and how much swimming space they're going to have, open space, how much hiding space they've got, how much shaded areas they've got. So there is things like that you take in consideration as well. I suppose you can disagree with the Zen type or Iwagumi type scapes. Is that the ideal home for your fish? Probably not. So that I suppose there is an argument there for Iwagumis and the type of fish you put in there, because they're all out in the open. But the other side of that is you're keeping the best environment possible, like mega filtration. The water's it's healthy water, it's good circulation, all that sort of thing. So, yeah, I think you'll always have that argument with escaping. I kind of feel that way with monster fish. People keep monster fish, but I don't. How big the tank is, monster fish never look right in a tank.
Yeah, they do. They always look like they just shouldn't be in a tank.
Yeah. But obviously the people keeping them are looking after them. It's the pride and joy, and the water quality is amazing. The amount of filtration they put on. So maybe that's a bit of an ignorant view from my eyes. So Yeah, should any fish be in a glass box? Probably not.
That's the ethical conundrum that we all live with after a little while. And
Yeah.
What's the longest aquascape you've had running? How long's it been?
2 years. 2
2
years
years.
long, so I've kept one going, yeah. Like I say, a lot of the time, the reason is not because I have to strip it for any particular reason. It's because I want to rescape it, and because that's my favourite part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. But there's no reason if I set a tank up, say I'm doing a video, I set this tank up. You could keep that going for years. There's different things you can do to keep it going for longer. If you're loving that, set up your fish are happy in that environment. Like for example, if your substrate soil starts depleting inside, it's not as nutrient rich as it used to be. You can add capsules, and you can do sort of, you can keep them going for years. I'm not sure what the longest one is. I mean, look at Takashi Mano's home aquarium. That's been going for, I think, 20 years. It's been chopped and changed. You've got Oceana Lisbon, which is the biggest aquascape in the world. That was initially for a year. It was just going to be showcased as that, but Mr. Amano, you think I knew him? Takashi Amano died, unfortunately, and they've kept it going for 15 years, I think it is. And that's a slightly big aquarium. So you can keep them going, but it's just maintaining them that way. There is ways you can do it, like I say, like just looking after them. I find the biggest thing with aquascapes, as soon as you get lazy on maintenance, crap happens, and you just get loads of problems. But if you keep on top of your maintenance, keep on top of things, that scape will be kept going for years and years, done properly. Yeah.
Very, very much sounds like the old adage that some people don't like. You're not keeping fish or plants in this case. You're keeping water. As long as you're keeping your water good, keeping on top of everything, you're under control.
Yeah. And I've got that saying, the solution to pollution is dilution. Keep that water diluted. The plants do the filtration for you and stuff. The plants help create a good environment as long as you keep that water diluted and keep your filters clean, obviously. Dirty filters isn't a good thing. But good husbandry, good maintenance prevents major problems, I think. But keeping a good environment, like you say, healthy water, keeping a good, healthy environment is good all around for plants and fish. And yourself watching the
and for the consumer. Yep.
Yeah.
So putting your social media hat, your YouTube creator hat on, how do you plan on promoting aquascaping to more people? Because obviously, as far as aquariums go, aquascaping is really in its infancy. So as a creator, how are you planning on promoting that and trying to get more people involved in taking that step and taking that plunge into trying?
I think, having to think about videos, I think my videos need to be a mix of everything. Enjoyable, inspirational, and instructional. I think with those three, it'll help promote the hobby. More people subscribe, more people pass the word on that, yeah, this is quite good. So it's not, my videos aren't going to be about thinking, yes, I'm going to create the best aquascape I can possibly do. I want to create aquascapes that are achievable. Some will cost more than others, like if you go high tech and stuff like that. But I always try and get things across, like, oh, give it a try. And be realistic with your expectations. Like, people come to me and say, oh, I want an aquascape. What sort of things you want? They'll send us a picture of Josh Sims' #1 worldscape aquascape. Well, that's not realistic. We can do something similar with similar plants, and we can do something like that. But yeah, just be realistic with your expectations. But this is my thing to get across in videos. I'll try and promote the hobby, saying aquascaping is great for different reasons, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You can create a beautiful aquarium with a bunch of stones, a nice piece of wood, and some epiphytic plants. So obviously plants that are attached to wood and stone. You don't have to have soil in there. You don't have to plant in a substrate. Still have a lovely aquarium. I've done that on numerous videos, and as it happens, some of those videos are my most popular. And I can put I can put all out effort into an aquascape and create something that's got a massive variety of plants in, loads of different colours. I'll put a video or a photo of it on Instagram. People are like, yeah, that's nice. Put something so simple, I'll pretty much, I wouldn't say just knock up, that sounds a bit arrogant, but something I've just done with the beginner in mind, people love it. And that's the most likes and stuff like that. So it goes to show, it's not about showing off what you can do, it's about showing off what's achievable.
Yeah, and so that tells you that people are wanting to see the accessibility of the hobby and not at the far end, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely.
So it's like I had a fluval flex and I had some dragonstone in, had some sand with a little bit of detail in, and I had 3 variety of plants in. I had ferns, anubias, and pusiphilandra. People loved it, and it's not hard to do. It looks more complicated than what it actually is. So I want to do more stuff like that. I show people, look, it isn't. You can have something lovely at home with minimal effort. As long as you spend an hour a week on that aquarium, it'll be nice. But no 2 tanks are the same. Stuff can happen. You can set one tank up exactly the same what I've done. You might fail with the plants for no specific reason. It's just one of them things. But 9 times out of 10, you will succeed if you keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't go ahead of it. Start basic. And once you get the gist of keeping easy plants and keeping an easy setup, then think, I'll try something a little bit more difficult. I might get a stronger light so I can grow these plants. I might start injecting CO2. But it's like a journey, isn't it? But that's like going back to it's just like I say, my social media, make it enjoyable, instructional, hopefully inspirational, and that's what I want. Try and make aquascaping the norm sort of thing in aquatics. So
You've led us into another question that I've got written down, which is, what are some of the tips you have for people that have decided that they want to give it a go? It's their first time round. All the barriers have been broken. Let's do this. Let's set up an aquascape. What advice would you give them?
Research a bit rather than dive in and spending a fortune and wasting your money. Just do a bit of research on what's achievable. Get a rough idea of the type of plant aquariums you like, and you might do a version of that, but keep it simple. Like I said, why not try something with some hardscape materials and just plants that are attached to wood and stone? You don't need massive highlight levels, then you can keep it so it's more inexpensive. If you manage to keep those plants well and they're thriving, that's a tick. Maybe go into something more complicated. So I'd say just research what you want to do. And what do I think I would say? And enjoy it as well. Just don't get too stressed out about it. Do something enjoying it. If you like it, that's the main thing. Doesn't matter what it looks like. If you create something yourself and you look and you think, hey, it's doing all right, I'm quite chuffed with it. That's great. Just bear in mind, though, if you're going to share on socials, you might get criticised, or people will be nitty-picky. Oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. That's just going to put you off straight away. But if you're doing it for yourself at home, you like what you created. That's what it's all about. It doesn't have to be the #1 scape or the best scape in the world.
I've got this huge belief that you're setting up an aquarium in your house for you to enjoy, as long as you're getting enjoyment out of it and the animals you're looking after are being kept fine. And that's all that matters. Other people's opinions and thoughts, it doesn't really matter. As long as you are getting what you need from it, that's ticked all the boxes. I don't like treasure chests and whatnot, but it doesn't mean that you don't. If you want them in your tank, you're looking at all day long, go
that's
for
what I said. If someone sends me a photo and we'll say, look, I'd like your feedback. That's specifically asked. Are you happy with it? Yeah, that's it. Are you? If you're not happy with it, I would do this. I would try this, and be subtle with it, and be constructive without being a dick. Basically, you know what I mean? But that's what you leave yourself open to on some social media. Just be aware that if you're creating a tank, you share photos and someone criticises it, let go of your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll get it all the time. But if it's just at home, but yeah, just do some research what you're going to do. And the biggest thing is red plants. Everyone says lovely red planted aquariums. They're hard to look after. And if you just get in the hobby, they're a bit more difficult. They've got more demands. So I wouldn't say they're hard to look after. They've got more demands. They need more light. CO2 injection is going to benefit them. You don't have to have it, yeah, but if you don't have CO2 injection, you've seen this lovely bright red plant, it's not going to go out bright red. It might have a different leaf shape. It might look as healthy. There's just so stuff to be aware of. Doesn't mean that's going to fail. That's the way the plant looks without their specific needs. So there's things like that. But you can have a gorgeous looking aquarium without CO2 injection, with lower light levels, you can still do it. Like I say, do a bit of research and maybe find someone, one or two people on YouTube, and follow those. If you like their work, follow those. Don't go through a mad range of people, because you'll just get overwhelmed and confused with all the information. Because everyone will do things slightly different or have slightly different opinions. Follow your favourite, someone you click with on YouTube. Say you think, oh, I like that person, I like his scapes. Follow those. Get away from everyone else and do something they've recommended. Follow their step by steps and see how it goes. I would say that because it's overwhelming if you're following 10 different YouTubers, say, and you're taking little snippets of them. It's too much.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. That's the way I go. I've got my favourites. I'm ADA crazy. Not ADA, Takashi Amano crazy. And I watch Takashi Amano videos and I love their style of skating. I love their skaters. So if I want to be inspired by something, that's what I watch and try and recreate something they've done. I don't watch loads and loads. Wow. Justin, massive admirer of Justin, but I would never try and replicate his work because I can't. I'll be honest.
Yep.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But some people say that with me. You've got competition skaters who do massive, realistic looking landscapes who struggle to create a nature aquarium. You know what I mean? So it's like swings and roundabouts. Some are good at one thing and maybe it's not the other.
Everybody's got their own niche, haven't they?
Yeah. But my advice is, like I say, and just take your time, do a bit of research, and it's hard. You could say a million things. You could give them a list, couldn't you? What to do and what not to do. But and don't be frightened. Just go for it. If it fails, it fails. Try again. You've always got those hardscape materials. If you keep hold of your wood, your stone, you've always got them materials. What advice I would give, actually, I think this is really important. Say you want what you said there, someone wants to get an aquascaper thing, I'm going to give this a go. Buy the equipment you need, so maybe it's your tank. You basically buy all the expensive things first, but it doesn't have to be the best of the best. So buy everything you need to run that tank. And then save some money or get some hardscapes or get some nice wood that you like. And I would keep the same types to keep things simple. Buy a few pieces of the same wood. Go big on what you think you need as well, because snap it, cut it, that sort of thing. Get some nice stones that'll complement it. Get some nice sand, gravel, that all goes together. Set something up and you can leave it dry for months and months and months till you need it, till you want to plant that. You might want to stay for your plants, or you're not sure what plants you're going to go for. You might want to do a bit more research on plants, but you've done your hardscape, at least you've had a bit of playing, you've created something, and just be patient with it. You might want to tweak it, or you reach down the line thinking, I'm not really feeling that, strip it and start again, practice. So do everything dry till you're 100% happy, you're going to plant, then fill it and run it. So that's the best advice I would give. You can leave a dry aquascape, hardscape for months. I've done it. I'm getting impatient sometimes, thinking, God, I'm buying a plant that, but I couldn't afford it. I had to save for the plants. But at least you've had a bit of play in your own little dojo sort of thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, definitely.
That's a good piece of advice, I would say.
When you're dealing with rocks and things, and you get stuck in, the first time you're tying it, you don't realise until you're doing it that rocks are awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes navigating between other rocks and pieces of wood is very difficult, especially in a small glass box. So the more practice you can get with that before it's full of water,
And if you haven't filled it, you might do something, create something, think, yeah, I'm all right with that. But once you fill it with water, it magnifies everything. So your hardscape comes forward and you're like, whoa, that doesn't look as good. But you can bear all that in mind when you're creating your hardscape. You think, that's all right. Well, I'm going to go to bed. And the next day, you might go, move that bit of wood slightly up, slightly down, that stone slightly left, slightly right. And it totally changes it. And you're like, wow, you just know. And sometimes the wood, you're battling with it, then it keeps wanting to sit in the same place. You think, well, that's maybe where it should go. You know what I mean? But it's all practice. I love that part, just messing around with your hardscape. And like you say, you bought that hardscape, you can always add a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you bought big, snap, take a bit away. But you've got that hardscape forever, then it's yours. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You've got that before you've got to fork out on plants or the other materials, because bear in mind, you're messing with your hardscape. You haven't had to buy your filter just yet. You haven't had to heat the water just yet. You're not having to do any maintenance yet. You're having a bit of play with the hardscape. So that's probably my best bit of advice is get your hardscape materials. Well, once you've got your tank in your cabinet, get your hardscape materials and just have a play. You know what I mean? Practice, and that's the enjoyable part. Yeah, I think that saves you money as well. You've got time. You haven't had to spend all outright, and you've got time to save for certain bits. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, that's
cool.
I always say that in workshops. I think that's a good piece of advice to give.
Yeah, I agree.
Prior to us coming on, you're mentioning how you don't do any competition scaping.
Mm-hmm.
And you're explaining to me the reasons why, which all made quite a bit of sense. Do you think the competition scene's getting stronger or weaker, or how is that developing, and what's your experience in competition scaping?
I've only ever done like one serious competition scape before. No, actually, I didn't even do it for the competition. It was the scape I felt looked the strongest and I was really happy with. So I thought, I'm going to enter it in IAPLC because it was ready. It was just so happening. It peaked around there. So stressful getting the photographing the competition scape. It's a stressful business, like. So, and I've done okay. I mean, it was IAPLC. There was like over 2,000 entries that year, and I come like 470 odd, which I was happy with. I was like, wow, that'll do me. It was only 60 centimetre settle. But I think competition scaping is a whole different ball game, and hats off to them. They create some great aquascapes. But in the same way, I don't want to take too much of my own enjoyment away from it. The pressure of creating something like has to be the best of the best. And I can't video for YouTube and I can't do this. So it's like, I suppose I'm not a competition scape. I think you usually go that way. You find if you're good at aquascaping, you're very creative and you're coming up with some awesome scapes, you probably go off into that route. But I've become like, I think, more of a creator and giving advice, that sort of thing. And I think I'm pretty good at getting across like low energy scapes that don't have to be real high end or like overcomplicated. I've never really tried something, to be honest, for a competition. Mm-hmm. I've never thought, right, I'm going to do a competition scape and done it. I've never done that. It's always been like what I think's looking the best. I would put it in a competition, or I have once. So, but some of the scapes just blow you away. Not some you agree with, some you don't. That's just competition in general.
Yeah.
It's all subjective. So what one judge sees is totally different than another. There was a certain scape everyone was going on, like saying about IAPLC. Oh, that was amazing. That was my favourite scape in the top 20. And I didn't particularly like. But again, that's just my opinion. I was like, really? And there was one scape that stood out to me. I was like, oh, I love that. That's my thing. And people are like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
it's all subjective.
What do the judges say? It's like I say, it's subjective, and it's competition. It's competitive. It makes you competitive. It becomes obsessive. You know what I mean? That's the nature of the game. No matter what you do in competition. Mm-hmm. But hats off to them. Generally, I'm like, wow, the dedication they put to the timing of it. How they're going to create that scape, the hardscape. They'll spend like 6 months on just the hardscape. They'll plan, and they get it just right for that photo. They get the best photo ever, which is super stressful. So, yeah, hats off to them.
Mhm.
But I think there's a place for it. I like seeing the competition, but I'm just not a competition scaler. That makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. And fair enough.
Mm.
There's all different aspects of keeping aquariums and aquascaping, and not everything's for everybody, and everyone finds their own little path within keeping aquariums, and that's what it is.
Yeah. So, and there's a place for everybody, isn't there? There's competitions, some great competitions for those who want to go the competition route. There's nice platforms there if people want to have a nice little social media thing on Instagram to show off their work or show off their scapes, get feedback for the scapes. Or if you don't want to put anything on, you don't have to. You just enjoy your own scape at home. So it's entirely up yourself which route you go. So
aquariums and aquascaping and in general, aquariums are such an inclusive hobby, and you can do what you want. And I find it's a really interesting one, because if you don't want to tell anyone you've got aquariums, you don't have to, and you could have a garage full of 500 of them, and nobody but maybe your local fish shop or who you're buying your stuff online will ever know you've got these things. But you can enjoy it just like anybody else who takes photos and shows them off. Yeah.
I mean, some people ask, why do you have an Instagram account? And your Instagram account is massive, but you might not really care that much, is the thing. And I just like being part of the social group, because I kind of go to my best mate's house and talk about, let's get him, because you'll laugh in my face or tell us to shut up. You've got a community of like-minded people. That's why people do it, I think. You can share a love of the hobby in that. Yeah. Because you can't talk to your partner about their part, because I'll bore her to tears, or you know what I mean? Or I got me, you see me new aquascape, let's go ahead, mint that. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
It's just
don't do it.
For other people, isn't it?
So it's like I say, exactly what you said, Cam. There's a place for everyone. Keep it to yourself. Share it on social media and at competitions. It's up to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be a YouTuber.
You've mentioned that you're building a studio. That's in the process, and that's going on. What's the sort of plan for you behind that, and what's, I guess, the end goal for that for you?
It was just a space. I want a nice, clean space, and I'm kind of like doing my little version of the ADA gallery. So it's all nice grey cabinets, all nice clean lines, which will hopefully look good on camera. So it's like pleasing for me to go in there. It's a nice place to maintain my tanks, make things easy for myself. Have a decent range of different types of aquascapes, different sizes of aquascapes, and sort of look good as a backdrop on YouTube. That's the gist of it. So in there, at the minute, there's 3 60cm, 2-foot aquascapes on one wall. The other side, I'm going to have an 8-foot unit full of nanos and shallows. There will be about 6 tanks on there, so some of them will be dry. My next setup is something totally different. It's just going to be the little Dua square things, the Dua range of like a little vase, basically, shallow vase. And I've always loved cactus since I was a kid, and I'm going to do a little Colorado desert with things, dry setup. So there's one there. I'll have some shallows with immersed growth, better tanks, maybe the black water setup, just a mix of everything. So in total, I'll have about 9-10 aquascapes in that little room. But content, it's my enjoyment. If I need to rescape, I can do it. But it's good content, and once I get that system going, I was saying about the final aquascape, how it looks after so many months, I'll be able to just rotate around those. And I've got my living room tank, so that's a 4-footer. So mix of everything, and it's for my own enjoyment, but it's also good for YouTube as well. And there's a lot of thought got into it and the way I want it to look and work, sort of thing. And I'm quite chuffed and excited about this year. Nearly done. I think in 2 weeks it'll be pretty much finished. Not the scapes, obviously, but the room itself and everything in place. That's the gist of that.
Cool. That's the end of the questions that I've got. Have you got any more burning questions, John?
Yeah, no, the last question I was just going to ask was about the studio, and we just covered that as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we like to end our Fanatics Friday coffee dates with what we call the School of Six, which is just 6 very quick, short answer questions, just to finish it off on a nice, light note.
Cool.
So, are you a tea or a coffee drinker?
Oh, both. Coffee in the morning, tea after dinner.
Fair enough. Are we alone in the universe?
Nah.
Cool.
Nah.
If you could have a meal with anybody from any point in time, alive, dead, a make-believe character, who would it be?
Princess Leia.
I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. I thought it might have been a male.
I used to love her when I was a kid. Loved that.
Fair enough. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Cool. Paper, scissors, rock. What's your first move?
Rock.
Cool.
It will go me. Sorry.
Last one is, you've already basically said what your unicorn fish is, but we're going to expand it anyway. What would be your unicorn fish or plant for you to either keep, photograph, see in the wild, anything along those lines?
All the angels.
Yeah, thought that'd be the one.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end. So thank you very much for your time. It's greatly appreciated. It's been fantastic. It's been an absolute pleasure. And so, yeah, I can't thank you enough for being on with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's really good. I'll be honest, I was a bit tired and stuff like that, but I really, really enjoy it. So Thanks for having us. It's been great.
Pleasure.
And just before you leave, if you want to tell people where they can find all of your content, fire away now.
You can follow me. My main platform is YouTube, and it's Geordie Scaper. And Instagram, Geordie Scaper. That's the main two, really. Facebook's a bit of a... Don't really bother with Facebook, but yeah, Instagram and YouTube, Geordie Scaper. So you give us a follow. That'd be great. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much, everybody, for watching us. It's much appreciated. I hope you've had as much of a good time as what I have. Have a good one, team. Happy fish keeping, and catch you later.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.